so for today, I have a very special guest for you. The individual who's coming on this phone call, he's pretty much a world authority. He is someone who, in the world of avian, in the world of birds, he would be considered like a keynote speaker when it comes to let's say huge events on the South Shore of Long Island in the town of Islip. And he'll stand up in front of a whole room full of people and he'll pontificate about poultry. And he's a really amazing figure. I highly encourage you to get all of his award-winning kind of like books and things of that sort. I mean, they're like one page long, but with that, without further ado, I introduce you to the world authority on chickens in the McEvoy backyard, Quinlan Graham McEvoy. Let's hear it for Quinlan, guys. Talk about Quinlan. I'm not joking. Go ahead. Tell everyone about your chickens.
This is my chicken. And
here, talk right into there.
It is in my backyard. It hatched a couple chicks and yeah. And it.
What's your chicken's name?
Sally.
This is Sally. And how many chickens do you have?
17 or 18, I think.
You have 17 or 18?
Yeah.
Okay.
I chose this one because it's got like a little hat right here.
It does have a hat, indeed. Yes, it does.
And it also goes like this. Oh, it's not doing that anymore.
And Genevieve said that they had a landlord who had chickens too. So can you tell us any fun chicken stories?
Well,
that's not that fun.
Okay. We hatched chicks once and...
You're talking to there.
We hatched chicks once and, well, they all, 4 out of the 6 of them turned into roosters. And we had to bring all the roosters back. And now we've only got 1 of the chicks that we hatched. That chick is now.
Why don't you tell the viewers about what happens to the chickens at night in the trees in our backyard?
So we have trees in our backyard, and chickens, their natural instinct when they're free range in those trees is to go jump in the trees and sleep in them. So half of our chickens go every night and they fly into the trees, they sleep into the trees, and then they wake up the next morning at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and then they come back down from the trees, and yeah, they start their day.
They start their day. The thing that I would say as we jump into the chicken drawing is we're also doing a drawing on something that is moving, so something that is in motion. So Quinn's going to go, he's going to stand right here, so if you want to take your position, and then everyone can see where you are standing. So this chicken's going to be moving around like that, and it's going to be, doing its thing. And as the chicken's moving around, we are going to try to capture its shape. So it sounds pretty daunting, sounds pretty intimidating, but don't worry. I'm also probably going to include some of Quinn holding the chicken because I think it would just, simply put, I just think it would be fun. So with that, let's jump over to our drawing. Okay, so we're going to have Quinlan right up there in the corner, and he's holding his chicken. And as Quinn holds his chicken, one of the things we're going to be asking ourselves, we're going to be saying to ourselves, okay, like how big do we want Quinn to be in the composition? I'm going to move that bird a little bit over so that you can see it a little bit better, just like so. How big do we want the bird to be in the composition? So we ask ourselves these questions early on so that we're sure that we're in control of what we're actually doing. We don't want to be at the mercy, let's say, of the chicken moving around and trying to capture its shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm grabbing a pencil, so I'm going to grab this is a B pencil right here, and I'm just going to start massing in a shape. Maybe I'll move a little bit to the side so that my composition isn't obscured at all. Okay, so here we have Quinlan, and he is standing there with his bird. I'm first gonna get Quinlan's head in for this composition, so I can kind of map him out. So Quinn, if you could look right at the camera, and as we get the chicken to look at the camera, then we'll have both of you guys very photogenic. All right, so that is pretty much our first shape for Quinlan's head. Then the next thing that we have is the chicken itself. So let's see if we can get the chicken to the side, more or less in that position right there. The chicken to the side. Yep, perfect, perfect. Great job. And okay, with the chicken to the side like that, then what we'll do is we'll just put the head of the chicken right there. Okay, so there's the head of the chicken. And now let's kind of like do something for the body of the chicken. So here is the body of the chicken. So the chicken's got a pretty big mass to it. Sometimes it surprises me how big chickens can be. Now, Quinlan, if you have any fun chicken facts that you want to jump in with, just go ahead and let me know. And then you could always add little facts about chickens as we're working on this.
This chicken surprisingly is a little bit small for a chicken.
Chickens can be small? What's that?
It's a little bit small for a chicken.
This chicken is that what you're saying?
Yeah, usually the chickens are bigger size.
Okay, so we have a fairly small one. I'm gonna sharpen my pencil. So now I'm gonna lean in a little bit heavier. So you can't really see too much like my drawing right there. So it's okay because I'm kind of like feeling my way around the composition. Now I start to dig in a little bit more. And you can see I'm working with my hands moving very much in the windshield wiper position. I don't have my pencil in a precise grip like this, but rather I have it almost like a baton of the conductor of an orchestra. So I say this just about every lesson because it's so important when you first work. You want to work from your shoulder, even from your hip as you first start. You don't want to be working like this, these tiny little motions. So, okay, we're back over to here. Let's put in Quinlan's head like so. And I'll even put in an indication of Quinlan's hand, although we're probably not going to get to his hand, but I'll remember that his hand is right there. So, okay, so I have the hand down here. Now let's get Quinlan's arm coming off of here. So I am going to say that I think that we have the only live stream going on in America right now where we have a live chicken in front of the viewers. I think it's safe to say that we are the world authority. You are on the exclusive world event of chicken TV right now. So you should feel very honored.
Say something. Oh, chicken's going to sleep.
Is it really going to sleep?
Yeah.
Yeah, the chicken looks like it is going to sleep.
You scratch them underneath the throat.
Yeah.
They like that sometimes.
All right, let's get down to the head of the chicken right here and see if we can get the eye locked in. Okay, so there's like this tiny little eye right over here. Here is the beak right here. And then, Quinn, what is the name of that, the top? Is it the comb?
Yeah, the comb.
The comb right there.
The chickens, you can
So why don't you hold it up
look.
close to the camera so they could see the comb? Like hold it like right there,
Yeah.
pretty high, so that people can all see the comb. So that is the comb, and why don't you talk about the comb a little bit, Quinn?
Well, the comb's the comb. That's kind of it.
The comb is the comb.
The eyes, though, when you can tell when they're looking at something because the pupils will grow bigger and smaller.
Cool. So that you can tell that the pupils grow bigger and smaller. So we're just, I like to, as we do these live streams, I like to think of the structure of what it is that we're doing. And again, because the thing's in motion, we want to keep like our minds, like we want to think about, okay, how is this thing shaped? So I am just going to put in the comb like so. It's almost like this big thing. It looks like almost at first like a slice of bologna, and then it feels like fingers coming off of it, like little fingers like that. So, all right, so we have the comb coming off like so. And only chickens have combs, Quinn, or do roosters also have combs?
Roosters also have combs.
Okay.
It's just they're more pronounced. And they also have bigger wattles.
Okay. All right, so we have the comb. I think I made a mistake. It comes down a little bit lower, so I'm just gonna give him a clone augmentation surgery right here. So there we go. He's got a bigger cone now. Do they have a specific number of points? Because if my chicken were a deer right now, he'd be a deer with a buck with many points on his antlers.
They can have as many points. They just get the points as they're older.
Okay. Interesting. I never knew that. Okay, so now that we have the comb locked in, I have the beak right here. Now I'm going to get, what is the name of the little flap right below its beak?
The wattles?
That's the wattles?
Yeah.
Why don't you show us what the wattles are?
So like on a turkey, you'll see these gobble. It's not a gobble, it's a wattle.
Okay.
So it's right under the beak instead of going off the side of the beak.
It's right under the beak?
Yeah, instead of going off the side of the beak.
I got it. Okay. Interesting. So I'm going to adjust this right here so everyone can hear you a little bit better.
Right here is the ear, this little rubbery part.
That's the ear right there?
Yeah, right here
Okay.
is the ear.
All right, so back to our little drawing station. I didn't mean to cut you short. So here's the ear, roughly right over here behind its eye. So here's the eye, then here's the ear. Am I correct with that, Quinn?
Yeah.
Right behind. All right, so now let's get to the broad part of the body. Now the broad part of the body kind of like comes over like so. That's the neck right there. And then these short little fluffy feathers that make up the neck area give way to kind of these broader feathers. Now, Quinn, do you have the name for those changes in feathers? Is there a proper name for those changes?
Some are wing feathers and some are downy feathers and some are just feathers.
Okay, some are just feathers.
So like if you look underneath the chicken, you'll find all these small little feathers. Those are downy feathers.
Those are downy feathers.
The
Okay.
normal feathers right here are just like, feathers.
Yeah.
And then these long ones on the wings are wing feathers.
Okay. So, all right. So we have these broad feathers that make up the wing back here. Quite a useless wing, but when these things are chased. One time we had a fox come into our backyard, and why don't you speak into the mic and tell them about the fox?
So there was a fox and our dog. It was just a dog, and it's when we only had a certain breed of chickens, and the fox started running through the yard. And it was going fast, and you could tell it was going to go eat all of our chickens. When we all just yelled "fox" and pointed, our dog looked around. It met the fox halfway through the yard, and it was like a good 100 feet away from the fox. It went really fast, and Evan found a tail lying on the ground the next day. Tess, our dog named Tess, got a lot of salami and other things.
As a reward, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Don't get restless now, chicken.
that's the story of the fox in the McEvoy backyard. All right, so I'm going to leave out his hand because that's maybe biting off a little bit more than we can chew for this live stream. There's a square that we could have that would represent the hand later, but we're going to focus really more so on the construction of the chicken and then the face. So what I did for the face was I drew a big oval right here, and then for the eyes of Quinlan, I just drew more ovals. The bottom of the nose, I really just drew a dash right there. And then his winsome mouth, his smile, I love Quinlan's smile, just comes like that. And it almost feels like an orange slice, just like that, very gentle. And okay, so for the hair, I just pretty much, if this is an oval, it's almost, I think of it as being an oval on top of an oval. So there's the hair. And there we have Quinlan roughly mapped out. Now, what I want to do is I want to go back to the chicken's face. And so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to zoom in a little bit more on the chicken's face so we could dig in and get some detail right here. So to do that, I'm going to sharpen my pencil. And then I'm going to zoom in on the eye. So as I work on the eye, what I want to keep in mind is that people really love eyes in drawings. Like eyes in drawings are like something that, like when I sell paintings, so let's say I do a painting of, right now I'm doing a portrait commission of a woman who was a judge here in New York. And so long story short, when I do this portrait, I really have to focus on the eyes. So what I do is first I have the eye, and the eyelid almost feels like an oval that's like sharp. So it's like that. And then for the eye, the pupil itself, it's just a pure sphere. There's just nothing other to it. It's just a circle. And then within that circle, I put two little empty areas, other little circles, and those little empty circles are the highlights. That's where the light is like bouncing off the chicken's eye. So, okay, so yeah, and I draw a little curve with a dot at both ends of the line.
Dad,
So thank you guys for updating me as you guys are working. Yeah, buddy, Quinn.
the chickens, you might draw its eyelid going down, but their eyelids go up.
Okay, so we just learned something here, ladies and gentlemen. The chicken eyelids go up instead of down. So that is kind of interesting to me, because when you are drawing a character, like let's say like it's someone from, I don't know, someone just sitting for you, someone in a comic, and when you want to make them sleepy, you go like that and you drop their eyelids low, right? And you cover the pupil from on top. But when you want to show contempt in a drawing, a painting, anything, you bring the underside of the eyelid up, and that shows like scorn and contempt. When we do that, that means that somebody's like, I don't know, they're spiteful in a way. So I guess we can conclude that chickens are spiteful creatures. That's what we conclude. Science fact, you heard it here. All right, so coming back to this eye right here, let's give him an upper eyelid. And to do that, what I'm gonna do, I love this little eraser that I have, but you can do this with any eraser. I'm gonna clean up around his eye, or her eye, right here. I'm going to just brush away some of that little erasure. Then I'm gonna give there is an area like right above the eye. And so Quinlan's saying that we don't have that eyelid coming down. So we'll just have to believe him, because again, he is the world authority on McEvoy backyard chickens. There's no one else who knows more about the chickens in the McEvoy backyard. All right, so now let's jump over to this lady's beak. The beak always looks pretty serious to me. The beaks look like they're no joke. So when you look at the beak, it kind of like turns sharp and quick, and it comes down at like a severe angle. So I'm gonna have it come down and sharp and quick like that, and then it comes up. So, I don't really love what I just did there. Maybe I just need to bring it in more. Yeah, I think that's what I need to do. I just need to bring it in a little bit more. You know what? I don't really like where this beak is going. I think my chicken's looking like an alien. I think I need to erase that beak. And I think I need to move the beak a little bit lower. What do you think, Quinn? Is that a good call?
I think
Yeah.
it seems fine how it is.
It seems
The
fine.
comb comes to the beak. Like the comb is like attached to the beak.
Yeah.
And the beak, it's always got like, it's got the beak like on the mouth. Then the beak goes like in a little. Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
I wish I could draw.
Well, no, I actually, from your description, I can see what you're saying. So I'm moving this down because I think the angle of the beak kind of almost like hits the corner of the eye. Do you know what I mean?
No.
And so I'll show you what I mean in a moment. And then where the beak joins, that comes right beneath the eye. Essentially what I'm saying is the beak comes lower on the face. Yeah, that feels a little bit better to me. All right, so now I'm gonna go to is it what is it? The wattle underneath the beak?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm at the wattle. So as I put in all this detail, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out for a second to show you how when you get the eye of something, then the whole thing, it starts to come together a little bit more. So I'm not saying that I have the whole thing together yet, but I'm going to jump over. I'm going to pick out a different pencil now. So like I have all these other pencils here. This is a lighter pencil. This is a 3H pencil. I'm kind of looking for like a 2H pencil. Like, yeah, that's it right there. So I have a 2H pencil there now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump back over here, and I'm going to start going in and putting in a little bit more detail on the comb. So I might erase away, I have a lot of scribble scrabble over here. I'll erase that away right there. And I'll start to go in with more detail on the comb, or yeah, is it the comb? I keep on asking you all the same questions. And it comes over like this. Is the chicken starting to talk more?
Yeah, let's see if it'll talk into the microphone. Hey!
It kind of is.
Do you think they heard that?
They might have heard it, yeah. All right, so now I'm gonna refine these points up here. So one of the things you can see when I draw is that I am constantly, so Genevieve is saying that she heard it. So one of the things I'm doing is I am constantly refining my idea in a drawing. So if you look at my drawings, they're not really static. I'm always changing what it is that I think of. And you know, it makes the drawing a little bit messy. I have some erasure marks that people can see and they can say like, oh, Kevin changed his mind. I don't care because I want to find the best shape for my drawing. So I just keep chasing after the shapes. All right, so I have that mapped out. Now I'm going to sharpen my pencil just a little bit. And then I will even use the sandpaper to get it even a little bit sharper. I wipe the dust of it off right there. And then I'm back to the top of this bird's head. So, okay, so I'm going in. What are these little fluffy feathers? Are there a name for them, Quinn? The fluffy feathers that like are right before the rest of the feathers?
Oh, the really small one?
Yeah, there's like a fluffy feather right here. I didn't know if there was a special.
Hat?
Oh, it's called a hat. See, I'm glad I asked you.
No, we just call it a hat.
We just call it a hat. Okay.
Because why not?
Well, because you are the world authority on McEvoy chickens, you can set your own terminology. It's up to you. You know what I mean?
We actually have another chicken of this breed,
Mm-hmm.
and we call it Hattie, since it looks like it's wearing a hat. It's more pronounced on the other chicken.
So that is Hattie, ladies and gentlemen.
No, this is Sally. The other one's Sally.
Well, the one with the big hat is Hattie.
Yeah.
All right, so I like how this is like kind of like pulling together. I'm going to jump back again to the eye because if I, you know, we have a limited amount of time for these drawings. And so I like to push like, yeah, I try to get the big overall shape of the bird in, big overall shape of anything in. But then I will quickly go to like, let's say, the mouth, to the eye, to different areas like that, so that I can give like a sense of, now, I know this is going to sound crazy to you, but the word I'm going to use is psychology. And so you could say, chickens do not have psychology. And you know what my answer would be to all of you that are incredulous? Then you have not seen the chickens in the backyard, you know, fighting with each other. So, okay, so we got the bottom of the comb right here locked in. All right, now I'm going to jump over to the large part of the body. Get the feathers back here. My drawing's gotten a little bit bigger because I made the eye too big accidentally. I'm kind of okay with it because, as Quinn, you were saying, chickens come in all sizes, right?
Yeah.
We had chickens in our backyard that were massive. I mean, they were big birds.
Really?
So, yeah. Didn't one of the white ones? I thought it was like so much bigger than another one. Am I correct with?
Oh yeah, that rooster that we gave to that farm.
Yeah, that was.
I saw it like a year after.
Mm-hmm.
That thing grew a foot taller, I swear.
Yeah, so some chickens can be quite a bit bigger.
That chicken grew.
So I'm making the chicken a little bit too big for what it actually is, like, this specific bird. But I think that's okay, because I think it's kind of fun. So I want to try to get those legs in. So in order to get the legs in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the angle of the leg right here. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit more. And it's okay that it's getting tight at the bottom of the page. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put in these sticks for the legs, and I'm going to stagger them. I don't want them to be like flush one right up against the other, but I'm going to stagger them. And then I'm going to have, it's almost like fingers coming off like that. So ignore this part of my body right here, and just imagine like it's a chicken leg. It's just like 3 fingers like that. Quinn, do you think that's a good way of summarizing it?
What?
Like a chicken leg is almost like just 3 fingers in a way, while you're trying to think of the top of it, not the
Just
underside.
Picture it as a Tyrannosaurus Rex foot.
You heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. Picture your chicken as being a Tyrannosaurus Rex. I love to see where your drawings are going to go
No,
after.
like a foot, like the foot of the Tyrannosaurus.
I want to misquote you. Okay, you heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. Quinn said that chickens are related to Tyrannosaurus Rex, and if you feed them enough, they'll grow to that size.
Actually, scientists, I know this sounds really stupid, but they say that chickens are the closest related thing to the Tyrannosaurus Rex. It's true. It's not true. It doesn't sound true. Like this.
Well,
being related to a Tyrannosaurus
when you
Rex.
see them in the backyard, when you bring the compost out and they fight for the compost, they seem pretty savage, if you ask my opinion.
Yeah, but like this feathered thing being related to Tyrannosaurus Rex.
All right, so we have our bird kind of mapped out. Now we're going to do a drawing of another really exotic creature. You can only see these creatures in the wilds of the South Shore of Long Island. And so this is called a quinlan right here. They're really dangerous. Don't get close to them. They've just been known to, like, I don't know, whistle really loudly. And what else would a quinlan be known for? All right, so I'm digging in now I'm going into the mouth right here. And for the mouth, again, I almost view his mouth as being, it's almost like a sharp orange slice. And they're just gonna make it a little bit dark on the sides. We can't go really detailed with the drawing because, again, we don't have like 4 hours. So for the nose, we're just gonna put, here are his 2 nostrils right here. And just a gentle indication. For his eyes, remember, quinlan eyes are different than chicken eyes because the eyelids come from on top. See all the valuable things I teach? And there, I'm seeing his eye as almost being like, I'm ignoring the under eyelid for the moment because the upper eyelid has the dark of the eyelashes.
Yeah. Dad, you know this hump
And
right
there
here?
is the upper eyelid. What were we saying, buddy?
You know this hump right here? Like just below the chicken?
Yeah, this puff right here.
That's the crop.
That's
So
the crop?
It goes down the throat, and then there's like a pouch inside its body.
Okay.
So if it were to have chicks,
Mm-hmm.
it would, all birds have this, it would regurgitate it. That's where the food that
Oh, okay.
regurgitates it. Then
Well,
it goes through here, through its intestines, and
now that you say
out the
that,
other end.
now that you say that, I could see that the crop is much bigger on the bird. So I appreciate you pointing that out.
Well, some chickens have a fatter crop
Oh,
than
okay.
other chickens because it's kind of like, it's just what it's called. So like, this chicken, I guess you could say, has a big belly. It's like,
Is she gonna get insulted?
this is how chickens.
All right. So there is roughly our.
I'm not going to describe that.
There is our quinlan, our wild quinlan, from the southern shores of its native territory. And then we have to give the wild quinlan some hair. Depending on the time of the year, it molts. When it goes into the summer season, it tends to shed its shaggy coat on the top of its cranium. Right now it kind of has like the early winter coat where you can see it puts on warmth to the top of its head. So there is the Quinlan's protection from frostbite in the colder weather.
It just makes me realize how cute humans are. This is my protection from frostbite.
So
Points to his head.
all right, so let's now get the shoulder coming off here. So here is Quinlan's shoulder. You know what? I made the bird bigger, so the shoulder is coming out too far. So I'm gonna tuck his shoulder back behind here. Because even though he is the mighty Quinn, if we make his shoulders too big, it's gonna be strange to have a little boy body next to a football player's shoulders. So we'll go like that. Again, we skipped the hand. Now let's take just a moment. I'm gonna jump over to my graphite powder. So every week I take my graphite powder and I just put some in my hand. Remember that if you don't have graphite powder, that's okay, because you can actually take from your drawing setup, you can just take like regular, like a pencil, and you can shade this in. I use graphite powder because it allows me to kind of like accelerate the drawing quicker. So if the light is generally like kind of coming from like right here, what I'm gonna do is think of the whole body of the chicken almost as being an egg. There was no clever little like wordplay there. So I'm gonna think of the chicken's body as being an egg, and then I'm just gonna shade this in right here. Just give this bird some dimension, a little bit like right here, just beyond its ear, as Quinlan told me. I learned a lot today. I'm gonna shade in its comb right here. So there is the chicken comb. I'm going to kind of like allude to the end. Is this just his neck area, Quinn? This right here on the back?
Yeah.
Okay,
It stretches out.
the neck area.
It's
So-
like if I went like this.
Yeah.
That's what the chicken's basically doing, except it's comfortable for it.
Yeah, you look very handsome when you do that, when you stick your neck back in. Go ahead and show our viewers. Just, wow. Yeah, that's a great look for you. That's really wonderful.
Yeah.
So when McEvoy boys are going to fight with each other in the yard, they pull their neck in like that so that they can rapidly strike out and lash at each other's eyes. No, they don't do that. All right, so
We don't do that.
roughly now we have the feathers mapped out right here. Maybe we can dig in a little bit more specific for these longer feathers. Quinn, what are the name of the longer feathers here? I know there's a name for those.
The wing feathers?
Yeah, the wing feathers, but is there like a name for the type of wing feathers? I remember learning that when I was younger, and I have forgotten. But I'm gonna put in these, they kind of have these long straight strikes that go through them, like so.
Well, there's several
And,
types of feathers. There are like the feathers that are on its head right here.
mhm,
So if you were to collect these feathers, you put them in like a deep winter coat.
yeah,
And these feathers, they're just normal feathers. And then under here are downy feathers, and just chicken feathers. And chickens have waterproof feathers. You can take any bird feather,
mhm.
and the drop of water will just slide off it with your finger underneath it.
Well, pretty cool. So,
But chickens
okay,
can't go underwater.
I don't mean to cut you off. We're right at the end here. So what we're going to do is we're going to slide this microphone back over so that you can come back on over here. And we are going to take a look. So if you guys want, you can turn on your cameras if you want, and you can show me your drawings. Don't forget to put your name beside your drawing. So, okay, again, you can upload all of your chicken drawings to classicalartathome.com. We have like a blog, or I forget the name of the section, but it's just a general forum where everyone can upload their images. And if you do that, I'll jump in and I'll give you, my thoughts, and we can talk about all of our drawings. And then you can check out YouTube, the Classical Art at Home YouTube page, where I'll take this video and I'll upload it. It'll be up in a few hours, and then you can watch the whole video unfold again. If you want to return to any part, you can watch it in slow motion. And maybe I'll push this drawing along even a little bit further, which would be a lot of fun. But I think we should all give a round of applause to Quinlan, the world authority on McEvoy chickens. Round of applause. Look at all of your fans right here. See? I told you that we had a really important poultry figure on the show today. And with that, we are going to sign off. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. It was a whole lot of fun. I look forward to next week. Next week, our lesson is on mammals. And what's cool about next week is that I'm actually bringing in my dog, Tess, to the studio. And so Tess is going to be posing for us. Tess is a really sweet dog. She's a great model for one reason. She is the laziest lump of life from like 6 in the morning until 8 o'clock at night. And then when it goes dark in our house, my dog Tess turns into a raging, homicidal maniac dog that just wants to kill raccoons, possums, and it goes out into the yard and it just, anything that's trying to kill our chickens, Tess just breaks their neck.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you can see, you want to
She's
talk about Tess?
also,
Here, come talk.
she drinks so much water at night, every night.
She
She's
does.
like, she doesn't bother to drink it at day. But you'll go and you're here for 5 minutes.
Yep, and so Tess will be here posing in the studio for us next week, and maybe Quinn, you can come too. You can draw with us in the studio.
Yeah.
Would you like that?
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you so much, Quinn, for coming and posing. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you next week, 2:30 Eastern Standard Time. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.